While walking in your garden, do you ever wish you could preserve some of that beauty and take it in with you during the winter? Well, today I'm going to show you how to do just that with a simple technique called air drying or hang and dry. Now, the European colonists used to do that here in America, and it's the simplest and oldest form of drying flowers. So when you go out to collect your plant material, you'll want to go out and do it after the morning dew has dried because you want your plants to be dry when collecting them. And you can collect them at different stages of flowering. Here we have just a smaller bud, and then we have some more mature flowers. So we're just going to collect some of these, and then we'll take them over, and I will show you how to prepare them for air drying. Now, after you've collected your plant material, there's just a little bit of preparation that you have to do to get them ready before you hang them to dry. And the first thing, you just cut your stems, and you want to remove any leaves that may not dry well. Now, if you know that the leaves will dry okay with your flowers, then you can go ahead and leave those on. Now, once you've removed the leaves, you're just going to take these and you're going to tie them in little bunches like I've done here. You can use rubber band, string, wire, or anything that's going to hold these stems tight. But you want it to be held tight because the stems will shrink a little during the drying process. Now, a little technique that I found is just take a little paper clip and just hook that up into your rubber band, and then you can just hook this onto your string or wire or whatever that you have hanging in, and you want to hang these in a dry, well-ventilated, warm, dark place. Now, you want a dark place because the flowers, some of the flowers will tend to fade, such as the pink. Now, those will fade. The yellow and the blue flowers, however, they'll hold their color a lot better. Now, drying time will vary depending on the air temperature and the air circulation and the amount of moisture that you have in your stems. Now, most flowers can be dried just like they are. Just bundle them up and hang them. However, some will have a weak stem, such as the globe amaranth or the mums or your straw flowers. They have a weak stem. So what you want to do is remove that stem and replace it with a piece of floral wire. Now, what we'll do is take this piece of floral wire, we're going to feed it up through the end of that and all the way out through the top of that flower. You want to pull it through, and then you're going to make a little hook at the end of this. This is, I believe they call that a hairpin hook. And then you're just going to pull it back down gently into the flower, but not all the way. Now, when this stem dries, it will dry around this wire. And then when you're ready, you'll just hang this to dry, and then when you're ready to put this in an arrangement, you just wrap it up with the floral tape, which I have done on this flower here. Now, we have different ways of drying other flowers, such as your hydrangeas, your allium, or your yarrow. And you'll want to put those in a container with about ½ an inch of water. Now, as these flowers dry, the water will evaporate. And then if you have flowers with large flower heads on them, you can get a piece of hardware cloth and just insert those stems down through the squares in your hardware cloth, and that will help hold up that flower head. And then you would store this in the same place like you do your hanging flowers. Now, another thing that you can do is dry your peppers. Now, peppers can be dried and then used later, crushed, in recipes and stuff. And you've heard of a ristra, maybe? Well, that's a technique of stringing peppers. And we're just going to string our peppers on just a piece of thread here. Just get a sturdy needle, and you'll want to insert that through the top of your peppers. Now, you want to harvest your peppers when they are ripe and red. And you want to make sure that they don't have blemishes on them, well, like this one does, because then that will rot as it's drying. But you'll just string up several of these peppers. And there you have a very simple ristra. Now, something else that you can collect to dry, and that is grasses. And grasses are very pretty when they're dried, I think. In fact, ornamental grasses are one of my favorites. Here we have a switchgrass, a dwarf fountain grass, an Indian grass, a miscanthus, and a Ravenna grass. Now with your grasses, you may want to spray them with a hairspray or a clear lacquer. This will help keep the seed heads from dispersing in your home. You can also spray your flowers with that, and that'll help to strengthen them. Now, a few things to remember when drying your flowers. 1, low humidity, good airflow, and when you bundle your flowers, you don't want to bunch them up in a whole lot of them, because you want to make sure that those center flowers get good airflow or they can mildew. So I hope you enjoy this, and maybe next time we'll make something with our dried flowers.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.